Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's August 3rd, 2018, and this is another episode of Ask Me Anything. Today I'm going to try and catch up on at least two more comments and questions. Just recently I posted a video regarding how we're growing our grapes and our grapevines. And I featured in there the grapevines on a trellis system and on our pergolas. Now I neglected to mention another growing structure, which is a arbor, which it could be 6 foot tall and use wires or cables between the. It's very similar to the pergola, but not quite as beefy. Everything around here I'm trying to build in such a way that I won't have to rebuild these structures for potentially my lifetime. And we get very heavy snow loads, and we get pretty significant ice storms at times. So that's the reason why I haven't built an arbor, but that may be an excellent application for growing grapes as well, or kiwis. So a question and comment that Kate Cortez had is, Kevin, this is especially interesting to me because last week I purchased a kiwi, a male and a female. I'm assuming it's their hardy kiwi varieties, unless you're down south, Kate, to grow on my pergola, and 2 thornless blackberry plants. I had planned on doing the 2-string method for the berries. What size middle post do you suggest? 4, 5, or 6 foot? I wouldn't go less than 6 foot for the size blackberry plants that we have. We use 6 foot heavy, very heavy gauge T-posts. Now I do know that they make another T-post that's a much lighter gauge, but I really would get the big heavy ones. We got ours from Tractor Supply or from other people on Craigslist that were selling their T-posts. They're absolutely fantastic, and I would recommend getting one of those T-post drivers. It's much better than using a sledgehammer, unless your ground is real soft. If your ground is real soft and it gets saturated, then I'd probably go with a 7 foot T-post. I sink the T-posts in about 18 to 24 inches deep into the soil, and I place the T-posts about 20 foot apart. And the T-posts in the center and along the string are all vertical, straight up and down. However, the T-posts on each end I put in at about a 25 to 30 degree angle. They start off at about 30 degree angle, but I take that heavy gauge electric fencing and I actually wrap it around the end ones, and I pull them as tight as I can, which really almost straightens those end T-posts, the ones on each end of the row. And when the thornless blackberries, if they're anything like our Triple Crown and our Chesters, they're going to be loaded with very big berries, and it's pretty heavy. Remember, it takes 3 to 4 years for them to get to the point where the semi-erect canes will be much sturdier, being greater than the thickness of my thumb in diameter, and be able to support themselves. One other thing I would say is when the canes get about 5 foot tall, I tip them right just above a nodule where the leaves come out. So that will encourage side shoots coming out, and that's where all the berries will be coming off as well. I think that answers the question completely. If there's any more questions, or if I neglected to cover some part of it, please ask below, leave a comment. So thanks so much, Kate. I really appreciate your comment. So Mars Rover asks, and this was at the end of the video on the day 3 of the soffit installation, and just a quick update. I'm still going to get back to finishing up the fascia. I've got to rent an aluminum brake. I got the fascia material in. I've still got to get some nails, but I've been working on other things, going and getting compost, working on some trenches, and doing repairs and all as well. And putting up some of the wood that needs to be put up this season, and doing some grading. But Mars Rover had commented and asked, excuse me, my nose is quite itchy. Do you sell your veggies at a local farmer's market? No, and I'll explain why in a moment. It seems like you are producing way more than you would need for your family. That's right, we produce far in excess of what we could use over a 3 to 4 year period. You've done an amazing amount of work on the prep and planting. I'm glad you are progressing with the greenhouse. Me too. Thea's really excited about me continuing with that. I can hardly wait to see its final version. I do remember it was a very nice unit when you took it down. Yes, although it's not the ideal greenhouse growing structure, but I'll have more to say about that in future videos. I'll have to look back and see if you are doing a thermal battery under it. Yes, there's a large thermal mass unit that's both water totes and wash stones with air circulation as well. That really took me one year to get that part set. Don't overwork yourself in the heat. Take a dip in the ponds when you can. The ponds are pretty low right now. We've been such a drop, but I do appreciate your suggestion, and I am going to try and take breaks throughout the process as well. Actually, doing these videos is a bit of a break for me. So back to the first part of that question, we're not selling food at the farmer's market, and we are producing a tremendous amount of food. We're giving a fair amount of it away to friends and family, and we use a lot of it to go back into the soil and feed the ducks and the chickens and the wildlife around as well. I don't ever see myself being one of those people who can go to the farmer's market and sell items. First off, I don't have the social skills that one should have. I'm not one who's good at small talk or waiting for someone to come up and talk to me either. I feel very awkward. I always have. It's part of my personality. In my prior profession, I didn't have to do that. People sought me out by word of mouth, and that worked extremely well. I'm just not good at marketing either. I don't feel good about trying to sell someone something, and I know that that's my own issue with that, and that many people say, well, it's easy. It's just my personality. Thea is much better at socially interacting, smiling. As a veterinarian, she's known as the hugging doctor. And so she's more gregarious, outgoing, and has many more people skills than I have. And there's a possibility that Thea may want to do that as well. I have thought about putting an honor system market stand at the top of the property here and see how that goes. I have in the past put ads on Craigslist for selling plants and selling seedlings, and pretty much shocked with the low responses that I did have. So I don't know why. It's probably part of our demographics, and if I were down closer to Syracuse, New York, or Oswego, New York, we're really closer to Fulton, New York, and Granby. It's sort of a Hickville type area around here, and there isn't as much of a demand for the sorts of things that we have. There's a real nice farm stand on 48 where they use all conventional monoculture, and they buy in all of their produce and sell it there at the stand, but none of it's organic. It's all used with it's all grown with traditional synthetic fertilizers and pesticides as well. So, and they get quite a turnout. In Oswego, there's a little bit more of an educated community there. It's a college campus, and their farmers market is quite nice. It's very nice, and people are looking for the organic or beyond organic, highly nutrient dense foods as well. So that's a possibility as far as selling foods at a farmer's market in Oswego. But again, I don't have that personality, and we have to see if Thea's going to want to do that once she retires. But she really doesn't have much time to do anything more than just doing some of the harvesting and working full-time at this point. Hank, please. You already ate. So the thermal mass, I'll talk more about that in the, but there are a couple of videos with me installing the stones at the time and showing how I put the ventilation ducts in as well, and then it's got that concrete, it's all below that concrete floor. So it's very insulated. The walls are insulated. The ground below the thermal mass is insulated. There are multiple ducts. I'll be using suction as well as, most thermal mass units that you see in greenhouses, they take the heat off the ceiling of the greenhouse and they pump it down. And a lot of them have a lot of right angles and pump it down into the thermal mass unit. It's far less efficient as far as distribution of the heat throughout all of the thermal mass if you don't suck it up from each one of the orifices that you have. So sucking as opposed to blowing is more efficient for achieving more maximal storage in whatever amount of thermal mass that you do have. And we're using both water totes, those are those IBC totes that go down the center, and that'll be something that I can adjust at will. I have at the base of pond 5, there's geothermal loops so that I can use that to help cool the water during the summertime. And during the wintertime, I can run either electric or whatever form I want. If I want to use thermophilic composting, I can use heat from whatever exogenous source to raise the temperature of the water totes as well. However, we're in a very cloudy part of the country, so solar gain during those long, dark, cold winter months is going to be minimal. So we'll have to see how things actually work out. But I'll have much more to say about that in future videos. So thanks very much, Mars Rover. I do appreciate both you and Kate are regular contributors, and I certainly appreciate your input and questions. So I think that covers everything at this point that I hadn't covered with comments and questions. If I've neglected to cover one of your comments or questions, please mention it below in this video. I've been busy doing a lot of things around here. If you want an update on any of the other things that I've been doing around here, we've got another swarm that's happening right now out by the hives. We had another swarm move into another one of the hives as well, small swarm. I've been getting wood harvested from the area where I dropped the big tree before, and clearing out that area. I've been continuing to work on the area up front by the blackberry bushes where I'm doing the hugelkultur below the earth, and then the brush and logs on top of the earth and the wood chips on top. I'm still waiting for more wood chips. Down and back I'm doing more hugelkultur. That's where I'm taking all the root balls and burying those down and building up a fence line down in that area. So trying to utilize all the raw materials here on site for to be applied and utilized in other ways on the property. So we're not producing waste, we're utilizing all of those resources. So if this video was of value, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. That bell icon, if you want to help us out, hitting the bell icon, of course you get noticed every time I post a video, so if you don't want that, I understand. But I guess with the engines that assess how well we're doing as YouTube creators and how well we rank, so you get more exposure, That's what YouTube is. It doesn't matter how many subscribers I guess you have. From what I understand, it's whether how many people are getting notified of videos being posted when they are by hitting the bell icon. You can always help us out by using the Amazon affiliate that's listed in the description below link. If you do buy something from Amazon, that helps to support the work that we do. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but they do give us a very small commission, which would be wonderful. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And by all means, folks, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.